I wanted to say something, man, because people were asking me about, Eminem doing all these numbers and stuff, and being a top 10 selling artist of all time. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. I know we got to go on to the next topic and kind of wrap up the show. But have you ever seen? Because there's a lot of vinyl that sells now, right? And I think that we're in the physical, the digital era where we don't really have physical, I guess, proof, if you will, that people, have purchased the album. Like I remember we used to back in the day, you can go to somebody's house, you would always see a CD or Ready to Die, or whatever. You would always see Thriller. Why do you think that the fact that Eminem sells so many units or has sold so many units, we don't see Eminem vinyl releases?
This is what I mean about detail-oriented writing. My class is in session. I just brought up based on true events part two.
Coop's not gonna answer my question, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not. Son a thinker, but he's surrounded by negative peers. Listen to what he said. This is detail-oriented. Mind of seventh graders. He's describing the mind state of the people he's talking about in the previous bar.
Mm-hmm.
Details. Mike, her tattooed chest where her necklace rests, she covered his name. Detail-oriented writing.
And that's what it is.
What are we talking about? This is the 50-year-old him. And so I'm sorry if this is not Rewind or even the setup for me.
But what is?
Or, that's what the fuck I'm trying to say, Mike. What is that? Has somebody been coming along? Did we miss somebody telling stories better than this? I'm sorry. Because
again, when you have to
Black Thought on identical deaths, on cheat codes, like comes to mind of being on this level. Pause. Like that's my list.
That's huge. Mad Max with the super chat says, "Sorry, Coop, that was a blah blah blah. Those aren't quotables." He's talking about the Black Thought quote, I'm sure. He says, "You heard Kane who quote Thought for real. He sounds good with words. He just ain't memorable. Just another rapper. Rome Streets, bar for bar is better." He said, "Rome Streets right now, bar for bar is better than Black Thought." Shout out to Rome Streets. I like the album. We're gonna talk about the album, but I disagree with that. 100%. Mad Max with another super chat says, Rome saying I turned the ops to an abbreviation is more memorable than when he said than what he said, and the entendres on that is tough than what you said, rather. Tater Tot to the super chat says, "Hot take."
So this is what I mean about Thought's walking standard for bars. He says stuff, hip hop, it's not pop like Kylie Minogue. It's a bang and getting busy. Brothers probably involved in a game where everybody got a shotty to draw. I guess you probably a thug. You must fall in a rut. I can't help it, man. I got the ladies falling in love because handsome, intelligent, tough. I'm all the above. Is the walking standard for bars. No, Rome Streets do not spit like that. And I love Rome. Rome can't put it together like that because very few can.
Not many people can, right? Tater Tot to the super chat says,
most people don't even know who Kylie Minogue is. You feel what I'm saying?
I think you got
when he says hip hop, it's not pop like Kylie Minogue.
Whatever happened to Kylie Minogue? I wonder if she's still making music.
Probably.
Tater Tot to the super chat says, hot take. Freddie the Godson's flex freestyle is better than Black Thought's. Freddie the Godson's freestyle was tough. I ain't gonna front. Really was.
It was tough.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I know Magic 3 is great because no one wants to review it. When Magic 2 came out, reviews and opinions were all out the next day. These Magic 3 haters think that they're going to go circle the block and come back next year. That is interesting. When Nas drops something quality, they just don't review it. Crickets. But again, I'm going to try one more time before we move on to the next thing. Why isn't there any Eminem vinyl out there? I think that would just sell like hotcakes, right?
I mean, he doesn't need to do vinyl.
I mean,
that's
like you said, Coop, it's the music business. Like if there's an artist who's a top 10 selling artist all time, and I can go out there and capitalize off of these vinyl sales and the fact that people collect vinyl and they have vinyl in their homes, why wouldn't I?
It's a great birthday show. Eminem, Nas, Kanye, Mad Max and Leroy going ham, talking nonsensical shit as usual. It's been stellar. Black Thought,
Listen,
Kendrick, Cole, great shit.
in my years in radio and dealing with DJs and this, that, and the third, I've never in my life seen a piece of Eminem vinyl. I'm just gonna keep it real.
You know what? How about this, Mike? About that claim, I'm gonna step out here and find you some evidence to the contrary.
That'd be great. Find
you some evidence. Go ahead and timestamp that. Today on my birthday, as I turn 42, 10-2, Coop turns 42. Going to go find you some Eminem vinyl.
Okay, all right. Uncle Fred with the super chat says, Coop, agree on the details on BLTE2 baggage claim. Hurry the fuck up, asking TSA is the conveyor belt stuck on what? What's the delay? Yeah, man, that's detailed. Or that's what I've always given Nas when it comes to his.
That's what I'm saying. He's not saying got held up at the airport, went down to the Clearport.
Exactly.
No. That's not going on. That's not going on.
Yeah, he's the most detailed storyteller hip hop has ever seen.
That's what I mean. Like the nerve of people trying to like this is what you. Go back to the bad beat picker argument.
Right. That would be better fit than this. You don't critique this man's storytelling ability when he's telling them at this level. Because
it's like talking about like LL's hit making ability or like talking about Drake or Method Man's hooks. It's like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
You're talking about his superpower.
Exactly. But nobody wants to talk about one of their favorites and their flow not being the same anymore.
Right. It's like talking about Biggie's flow, Mike.
Exactly.
It's absurd. Right. It's like, yeah, Biggie really don't be flowing like that. It's like, huh? He what?
Right.
Where?
Biggie didn't make hit records, right? I don't know. Okay. Well, did you... All right, hold on. I want to go here real quick before we go into the Kanye thing. You hear that Lil Wayne project?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I was super excited for it beforehand because the Wayne's been like rapping and tearing shit up for a few years now on guest appearances,
right?
Not on albums, on guest appearances. It has been like, oh no, Wayne sounds like a little, because a lot of people saying Wayne was done, and peak was over, and so like I'm sure he hears those things, and this project is just not cohesive.
Yeah,
and I know it's just meant to be kind of like a little preparation, like little mixtape status Wayne. But even his mixtape status is pretty legendary at this point.
Right.
And this did not satisfy my appetite the way I would have liked it. I think the biggest takeaway from it is that rhyme-wise, he is still a titan and a giant. And he's doing a lot of the things that, quote unquote, I call them like Wayneisms at this point. He's doing the stuff that Wayne is great at. Like his punchlines are different, And you can see that guy still exists, but I found the project to be uneven. When he goes into rock and roll territory, I just don't like it at all. What'd you think? But there are some joints on there, though.
I'm with you on the rock and roll.
Yeah, stay with me. I like Rockstar Wayne in terms of projection, not in terms of recording in the booth.
I think that, like you said, it's kind of off kilter. We look for him for that, but the production to me is slightly off as well.
The production's the problem.
Yeah,
like he's still flowing on there.
Exactly.
And let's just go ahead and have this discussion since we're talking about all of this. Wayne's biggest hindrance is content and subject matter to me, and this is evidence of that in the negative because it's like. Not to bring him up, when Pusha T first started this shit with Wayne, he said something on the Re-Up Gang album. And he was like, I don't really respect who you applauding. Little nigga flows, but his metaphor is boring.
Well, okay. I'm glad you said that.
This is what he was talking about. He's like, yeah, he be flowing and shit, and it be sounding nice, but it's like, what you're really saying, like, what is he saying? And this is one of those things where it's like, and this is why I was like, well, nah, he really ain't eat Nas on the track. He just did what Wayne does on the track. Because if you go listen to the content, because content is part of why Tupac's songs are so classic.
As you
It
get
matters, and that's where he lacks. Because really, when you listen to him get off in his bag, he has everything else you could really want an MC to have. He's got great flow, delivery, timing, hit maker, hook writing. No, he can do it all except the content.
as you get older in artistry, not just in hip hop, but just period, your content matters even more. Because when you're young and wild or whatever, you know what I mean, you can kind of touch on a lot of different spectrums. But like you said, to have something to talk about and having a perspective, that matters at this stage in your career more than any other
Like,
time. Now, I
how
saw
about this?
Eminem posted something about the Wayne album, and he pulled out a metaphor that he loved. He said, "Bro, Wayne just said, got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns. Fuck, why didn't I think of that?" What did you think about that
No,
bar?
that's what I mean. That's one of those Wayne isms. So it's like I like the bar, but how about this?
Like, what is it? Yeah, I got you.
We should. How about this? This is what I mean. Remember when Rick Ross did "Idols Become Rivals"?
Right?
Why do we know more about your situation with him through another rapper than to hear you talk about it on Wax?
Yeah.
He's been through so many different life altering situations. He's been with so many famous women and been in relationships with them. He's been through so much personal strife with his quote unquote surrogate father. He is the guy that is responsible for bringing us Drake and Nicki Minaj. Why are we not hearing any of this content on record? That's a viable fucking question.
Where it is, and where's the Death Row East from a content standpoint
That's what I'm
from a Lil
saying
Wayne? You're
about
right.
Cash Money's heyday.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. The
Because
most
damn,
we
I miss my
got,
dog. Because
yep,
damn, I miss my dogs is gone.
that's
That's
a long
old
time
stuff
ago.
now.
Things have changed even from there.
Right.
There's a lot of stories to tell that go untold when it comes to Wayne. And like you said, we expect him to be able to articulate those stories because if you're in that echelon of great MCs, all of them did those things. You know, say what you will about Jay, but most of the things we know about Jay, and about the life before and after and during is because he
Come from
told
Jay.
it to us.
Come from Jay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they come from him. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Fellas, I'm not saying that Nas is trash at stories. LOL. You can't. No one would believe that."
Well, I
CJ
mean, that's
Kid with the
blasphemy.
super chat says, "Coop touched on this in the other show. Other artists do have Nas' storytelling ability, but they don't have his voice, so it doesn't come off as engaging."
Voice matters once again.
Voice does matter, but the way you put
Matters.
it together matters too. His details are somewhere else. Jay Short with the super chat says, "No excuse for Eminem. YouTube been repackaging and selling the same album of vinyl for 40 years because people will buy it. It's quick. It's a quick cash from hardcore fans. Maybe M fans aren't really about music. I want to see them
I'm
put out
going
a limited
to
edition
go
vinyl.
find some evidence.
I want to see them put out a limited edition vinyl. He sells that many records, you top 10 and sells all time. I don't understand why the vinyl ain't for sale." Mad Max with the super chat says, he said, appreciation, I said, appreciation, not abbreviation, Mike. Appreciation is a demonic spirit, and the ops be on the demon's time. So, I mean, the rest is self explanatory. Dot with the super chat says, "Wayne just like M. They just be saying random shit." And with that being said, I've always put the artists, like you said, who spaz and say random things and have, I guess, not full, clear thoughts. I put them in a different section than the people who are in my personal top 10 because I think when you're top 10, you got to be able to do it all. And at this stage in Wayne's career, I do expect more from him than what we got on this project. And it's got to be more than just the flow. He has a story to tell. He's always had a story to tell. We don't know anything about Wayne currently.
Redman's not content heavy, quote unquote.
Right.
Wildly entertaining.
But we
And
also, well, at least back in the day, we used to do the same thing to Redman and Busta Rhymes. At least my circle did. Like, we would
be like, but
say,
Busta and Red don't really talk about social
yeah.
issues
It's
or
like,
talk about what's going on in the hood.
yeah.
Right.
It's like we used
Yep.
to be like, yo, I can't really put Redman over Common because Common just covers too much. I
And,
mean,
and, and, and here's the reality of the matter. It's like bar for bar, I probably think Redman's better than Common,
yeah,
but on an overall ranking, I would put Common ahead of Redman too because
yeah.
Common subject matter
And versatility.
matters.
Redman can't make the light. He can't.
He can't make a retrospect for life with
Yeah.
Lauren Hill.
Or it hasn't proven that he can. And I love
Yeah,
Redman, but
yeah.
those are just the things that you
But that's
kind
not
of
what he brings to the table either.
exactly. It's like if we always correlate this to sports. It's hard to say that somebody is a better overall player than an individual when all they can do is score. Who was that player that damn, what player was it? It wasn't a Doug Christie, but one of those type of players where all he would give you is offense. And you're not gonna get any assists from him, you're just gonna get points. And I can't put that type of player over somebody that can give
Monte
you
Ellis.
yeah, somebody like that or whatever. Yeah, in a vacuum, you're great at what you do, but it's hard to put you ahead of somebody who might score a little less than you, but they can also give you rebounds and assists.
Like Gary Payton.
Yeah, and
Like
defense and
Monte
all that.
Ellis at his peak would average 24, 25 points. But Gary Payton gets you 20 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds.
Right.
Hold Michael Jordan to 25 points a game in the finals. Only time Mike didn't score 30.
Don't let Mike don't let Mike hear you.
It happened.
I
Mike,
hope, I hope
I
Mike
met
watches
Mike.
this
Hold
show.
on, hold on. Because I should. It's my birthday. I should tell the Michael Jordan story.
Go ahead.
So Mike comes in the restaurant, and we know he's coming in the restaurant. Me and Liz lives in Canada now with her husband and her 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
We got selected to take care of Michael Jordan and his 30 closest friends.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're doing the party, we're working the event and stuff. This is years ago. My daughter might have been 1, so it's probably been 15 years now. And Mike didn't say shit to me the whole meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end, it's like a $6,000 bill. So, don't nobody want to hand off no check like that big, except for me. So I walk up to Mike because I want my money. Fuck all that. And I walk up to Mike and I'm like, Mr. Jordan, here's your check. He looked back at me. He said, Armand, give that shit to Oakley.
Yes, sir.
Charles Oakley is outside arguing with his girlfriend, trying to pull her out of the limo that they had bought to the establishment. For those of you who don't know who Charles Oakley is, this is the last motherfucker you want to go ask for $6,000.
I mean, our New York
Atlanta.
base knows who Charles
Downtown
Oakley is.
Atlanta when this nigga's been drinking all night.
Right.
Me and Charles Oakley actually had a run-in before. These basketball players have great minds. So he remembers me, and me and him have a little back and forth. His girlfriend calls me a few names that I'm not going to repeat. And he rolls out a wad of cash, slaps it down like big dope boy roll, like rolls out, counts up about 6 G's right quick. Boom, 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 bam. So we're done, right? A week later, Michael Jordan walks in, and he's like, Armand, do you know what I drink? I was like, you drink Grey Goose on the rocks with 3 limes. He's like, do you know why I came back in here? I was like, excellent service? He was like, not quite. He was like, that was a joke. Nobody gives the check to Oakley. He's like, I came back because you're the first person I see have enough balls to actually go give the fucking check to Oakley. Nobody does that shit. He's like, you trying to get yourself killed, dude?
No, he's trying to get you killed.
He was like, that was a joke, but he came back in and supported after that. So that's the Michael Jordan story. There's some others. We and him had a couple other conversations, but those are going to stay closed in the books.
That's awesome. We also got a cash app from Larry Hill. Shout out to Larry Hill with the cash app. Says, happy birthday, Coop. That's what that was for.
Nobody gives the check to Oakley. This nigga funny.
MJ, baby. Mad Max.
Oh my, I was scared. You know how people be acting like story something happened. It's like, yeah, and I did. No, when he told me to go get that shit to Oakley, I was scared as hell. Charles Oakley, this motherfucker 6'9", he been drinking. I'd already had a run in him before. I had to cut Charles Oakley off at a bar once. That's how he remembered me. He literally called me. He's like, you that little nigga that cut me off that time. I was like, oh, here we go with this shit.
Mad Max in the super chat says, Rome is the modern day Big L, and Big L was better than thought. Woo! Man, Mad Max, you're saying a lot of stuff today. Mad Max is in rare form on your birthday, Coop. We got web visibility here. It says Wayne is due for his version of Life is Good or 444. I don't feel like he has that in him. I don't.
He hasn't even showed the substance that Jay has shown.
Yeah. And people want to say that Jay doesn't have the substance. Jay got substance. And he's shown you
No, see,
that throughout his career.
his substance comes in spurts.
I
Me and
think
my
the weaker
homie started
times.
out Code D, picked the mailbox lock because I ain't have no key. Had
Hmm.
the cable with the anchor when Jazz made Sophie, but then I went low key. But now I'm back. It's on, motherfuckers.
Ooh, yo,
No, they be
man.
talking to you.
Yeah,
Used to
Jay.
slang work out of apartment 4B. Mike, we have a spot down here in Atlanta called apartment 4B. Guess where the owners are from, Mike?
Yep. Marcy.
They're from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Right. No,
Li-
Jay's details literally has inspired people to start establishments in other cities.
Yeah, his life. He puts his life on the track. And Wayne has not done that yet. I would venture to say, and I know they're gonna hate me for this too. Drake has put his life on the track more than Wayne has. Now, is Drake the spazzer on the mic that Wayne is? No. But if you want to talk about being able to check off all the boxes and talk about things in different levels of detail, I might have to say I would put Drake over that. I mean, it is what it is. Leroy Green with the super chat says, I haven't heard the Wayne project, but he's like Ghostface with abstract rhymes that don't really get personal either. And you love Ghost, Mike. Well, Ghost has All That I Got Is You. I don't think that's a valid point.
Ghost be getting personal.
Ghost has Child's Play off of Supreme Clientele. What do you mean? Wayne ain't got nothing like Child's Play. Wayne ain't got nothing like All That I Got Is You. No, they're not the same. Sorry. Wayne ain't got no verse like Impossible off of Wu-Tang Forever. What are we talking about? Leroy, you're just saying stuff now. James Smith with the
I'm not
super
going to entertain Leroy on that one.
James Smith with
it.
the super chat says Drake and Nicki have also followed Wayne's game plan of no substance. I would say Nicki more than Drake. I think Drake has some substance.
Drake's had. I'm gonna tell you when Drake first registered for me is actually when he did Successful.
I
When
was
he
gonna say.
talked about that bar with his mama. So she cried to me, but she only. So my shirt was shirt. What he say? So she cried too, and my shirt was soaking wet. She only 5'2". I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Details, personal details.
He
and
said they would probably
detail-oriented writing.
retire. James Smith also said they probably would retire without saying anything socially related. Now, yeah, they're not going to get social. Now, that's probably not going to happen, but I think Drake still tells his story. I give him that. Mad Max with the super chat says, Leroy, he says, Rome is on Big L level. He is just the closest thing. He said, I didn't say that Rome was on Big L's level. He's just the closest thing to Big L. Big L's way better than Rome too. And Rome is nice after Tan Rome bar for bar. Man, not Leroy Green, Mad Max with the slang and the shorthand, man.
Man, Mad Max is out here. Speaking of Big L Ebonics, Mad Max. Since we talking about Big L, you is on some Ebonics. You want Ebonic right into? Are you at work, Mad Max?
Probably is, man. Probably
I'm
boom,
gonna need
boom.
you to use subject, verbs, predicates, proper conjugation, and pronunciation because you're doing super chats. How long you been doing this, my dude?
Got love for Mad Max. Mad Max always be chiming in.
Use your words.
For sure. What were we just on? Yeah, the Wayne Project, man. I guess that this is what I will say. This is my hope for the Carter 6 if it happens. We need to get a full effort that can show us everything that Wayne can do and show us why Wayne is in these conversations. Because if we're just talking about, spit game and things of that nature, he has it there. But it's more than that. You got to put it all together, man. Like right now, Wayne is kind of an and one player. And for those who don't know, and one's basketball league where niggas are just dribbling behind their back and, doing flips and doing crazy dunks, kind of like the Harlem Globetrotter stuff. But you need to put it together as a full out, complete thing if you're going to be in that conversation. And that's probably why I always lean more towards T.I. than Wayne, because I feel like T.I. does that much better.
Yes. T.I. has way more content and subject matter.
Yeah. And he's able to make hit records that actually follow a theme. That actually, like, he could make a Let's Get Away in a way that I don't think Wayne really can. Mrs. Officer is nice, but it has a feature on it. But I don't think Mrs. Officer is the record that Let's Get Away is, in my opinion. Mad Max with the super chat says, "Yeah, I'm at work. I'm always at work. Where you think I get all this money from? Right
I
with the
don't know,
super
Mad
chats.
Max. I don't. What you do
Mad
for a
Max is
living
out
is
here
your
working.
business.
Ebonics is my anthem. Classic rap song, real bars, great concept record for sure.
I
Now,
love Ebonics.
Ebonics is awesome. You want to
My
talk about
class.
Kanye West? Well, I guess that was the wrong way to ask that. We're gonna talk about Kanye West.
Ding, ding, ding. Yay.
All right. Well,
This
recently
nigga.
there's been a lot of leaks when it comes to Kanye West. Well, one of the things that I just read across the timeline or whatnot. Hold on, we got
Did
another.
this nigga say I gave them three my beautiful dark twisted fantasies? Did he say that out loud?
Wait a
And you think he has some
minute.
credibility?
Darius
Go ahead, Mike.
Darius Campbell with the
Can't wait.
twenty
Some of the
dollar
wildest shit.
Darius Campbell with the $20 super chat says happy birthday, Coop. Appreciate the love.
Thanks,
That's
gang.
awesome.